Hello boys and girls, welcome to Writing Workshop. So I see many of you are wearing your PJs still. I have my comfy clothes on too, Roll Tide. Writing Workshop. So, you know, your teachers and I have been excited about the writing you've been doing lately. We've seen reading responses when you were talking about characters and settings. We've seen some of you actually wrote weekend news already this morning, and we really appreciate that writing, and we're excited that you were telling us about your weekend. But we're gonna go through the whole writing process this week to write a narrative. Now, friends, you know that genre. You remember the narrative genre. That was when you took one small moment of your life, something that you did, something that happened to you, good or bad, and it really stuck with you. It stuck with you so much that you think it's a really interesting story that you want to tell someone else. It's a little different than the narrative writing that you did about your weekend. It's not just an update, it's not just a journal, it's a story. It's a story about something that you did that you want to tell. So friends, we're gonna go through the whole writing process, and I'll just show you kind of what our week is gonna look like. So today on Monday, we're gonna really take our time today. You've already done quite a bit of writing already in that weekend news. So today, we're gonna kind of go slow so that we can go fast later in the week. Today, we're gonna focus on thinking of a topic, and we're gonna go ahead and plan out our whole piece today on Monday. Why do we wanna go slow, friends? Because one of your targets in second grade is writing a lot of lines across the pages. And so we're going to talk about how to do that in our planning today. Tomorrow we're going to work on our leads. This is all a review. We've worked quite a bit on this in the first trimester, but we're going to review leads and come up with some good leads. And then Wednesday, we're going to work on actually composing and drafting with that action and that dialogue. Thursday, we'll think of a fabulous way to close our piece, and then Friday, we'll revise and edit. So friends, let's get started right now on thinking of a topic. Now, unfortunately, I know that our tiny topics are at school, so I'm gonna kind of remind you of what might have been in your tiny topics notebook at school. Some of you had generated so many ideas for narratives, but you know, we never got to all those stories, so now's the time to think back about your tiny topics at school and think about what were some of the stories you thought that maybe you could write about. I remember some of you said that you would write about some exciting times of your life, or a time that you were proud, or maybe a first time you did something, or a time that you were sad or scared, or even got hurt. I remember if you're thinking about your whatever topic you're going to write about, some of you had ideas under the exciting category, like the time you got a pet or the time you caught a fish. Some of you had a category of times that you were proud. Some of you won a derby, and you did well in a race that you were in. There were some of you that were going to write about the first time you did something, like the first time you rode a bike or the first time you lost a tooth. I know we read a whole mentor text, Jabari Jumps, about the first time Jabari went off the diving board. I know some of you were going to write about a time that you were sad, like one of you came up with a time that you were lost in a store. One of you was going to write about when he broke his arm. So I'm going to take you through my writing process this week so that can remind you of all the steps that you're going to do this week in your writing process. You know, I think I'm going to write about the first time I did something. I don't think I talked about this in school, but I think I would like to write about the first time I went water skiing. So that is what, now that I've thought about my topic, I'm going to go ahead and start planning my topic. Okay, so when we are planning our topic, the first time I went water skiing, first I'm going to retell it across my fingers. Do you remember how we did that, friends? for the purpose of this week, I'm gonna come up with at least a lead, a couple good pages of taking you into my journey of my water skiing attempts, and then closing. Friends, I'm gonna go ahead and plan across my fingers. And I remember that the first time I went water skiing, I was at a resort. We went as a family to the same resort every summer at the same week of the summer each year. So we got to know the people that would show up the very next summer, the same week of summer. So we got to really get to know these people. And we were not a family that had a boat at that time. So we watched other people have fun and ski off their boats every year. And so I remember this one summer, I was sitting there, I think I was about 9 years old. I was sitting there and I was wishing so badly I could ski. And you know what? The owner of the boat must have recognized that. And he asked me if I wanted to go skiing. So that's gonna be my first page. My second page, I think I'm gonna write about when I was trying to get all that gear on and get my skis on and how I felt. I still remember how nervous I felt trying to get those skis on in the water. That is gonna be a page worth telling. My third page, I think I'm gonna write about, I was trying to get up on those water skis probably 5 to 7 different times. I remember how it felt for me every time I fell. I remember how I was worried about whether Mr. Buckmiller, the boat driver, was gonna keep taking me, if he was gonna tell me I should probably stop, because it was probably like 5 or 7 times that I kept falling. And then I will write on my last page about my success. I actually did get up and I actually skied a small circle, so I'll talk about that on the last page. So now that I've planned across my fingers, and if you want an extra page, that's fine. Now that I've planned across my fingers, I'm going to plan my Post-it notes, and then I'll put them on each page and do a touch and tell. So remember, friends, this is what I've suggested in our writing workshop in 2nd grade, is to make sure we do not just start writing. We actually are going to put our plan on our Post-it notes. And remember, I would suggest putting your 4 or 5 Post-it notes across your table or your desk where you're working today. Put up 4 Post-it notes and go ahead and write what you're gonna jot down. Don't spend a lot of time writing, but just do a quick jot on each Post-it note what you're gonna put on each page. So again, my first page is when I wanted to ski. I wanted to ski more than anything. And then Mr. Buckmiller, I'll introduce you to him tomorrow. Mr. Buckmiller asked me if I wanted to ski. Friends, that's not a lot of writing. I don't want you to spend too much writing on your stop and jots. My second page is when I was getting on my ski equipment. That's what that page is going to be about. Then try and fall. That's going to be my try and fall page, because that happened a lot. I'm going to take you on my journey of what that felt like, and what it looked like, and what I was feeling and seeing when I kept trying to get up. And then on my last page, I did it, and I can't wait to tell you about that one. So friends, the last step today in writing workshop, after you have actually written on all your 4 or 5 Post-it notes, you're actually going to take your Post-it notes, okay, and you're actually going to stick them on each page of your narrative paper that you brought home the Friday before we got out for e-learning. So now we're gonna take those Post-it notes and we're gonna actually put them on each page, and that's when you'll do a touch and tell to make sure that this makes sense and you have all the parts of your story that are gonna tell and take your friends with you. So this is the page where I wanted to go skiing for many, many years, and Mr. Buckmiller asked me. Then the second page was where I'm gonna write about having to get on that ski equipment and what that felt like in the water trying to put skis on. The next page is where that's gonna be a lot of action, a lot of feeling, where I'm trying and I'm falling. There's gonna be a lot of dialogue on this page because I had to keep talking to the boat driver. So this is gonna be a really exciting page for you to come with me. And then the last page is gonna be actually a really feel-good page because that is the page, and I'll close it on this page that I actually got up, I skied that small loop, and I'll tell you how it felt. So friends, as you're planning today, remember that you're gonna think of a topic that is really, really stands out in your mind as a big time in your life that you did something that made you proud or scared, or something happened to you. You're gonna think of your topic, you're gonna plan it on your fingers, you're gonna jot all those ideas on your Post-it notes, and then you'll stick it in your packet, your narrative writing packet that you came home with 2 Fridays ago, and make sure you touch and tell and that your piece is going to sound very fluid and you didn't miss any parts. So friends, I'm excited that we're going to get back into real writing in a genre that you're familiar with, and I'm excited to start seeing what you're producing at home and showing your parents because you know how to do this. Friends, you have the checklist linked. Again, today's target was I wrote a lot of lines on a page and wrote across a lot of pages. No, we didn't write a lot of lines on each page, but we are going to write across a lot of pages because we've made our plan now. All right, good luck today.